Hello everyone. Today, in this lesson, I propose to add another hook, which will check the format of our commit message and automatically format it. This will be the last lesson about refining your development flow, and it will be a bit unusual because, in this lesson, we will not write the code ourselves, but will seek help from ChatGPT and Copilot. Let's get started. In practice, it's a simple task. We just need to create a file named commit message inside the Husky folder. And in it, we need to write some logic that will format our message. How do I want to format it? I want, first of all, no periods at the end of the message, no ellipses, not a single dot, so there are no periods at all, to have the first letter capitalized, and no spaces at the start or end of the message. How to process such a string in JavaScript is, in principle, quite clear. And actually, we can even use JS here by transferring it to Node. But that's not so interesting. I want to write a natural bash script, but I'm not good at writing bash scripts. So I turned to ChatGPT. Let's take a look at the dialogues in this ChatGPT. I literally told it what I want. I want a commit message hook that trims spaces, removes periods at the end of the line, and capitalizes the first letter. And it basically gave me what seemed like a decent response right from the start, but there was a lot that wasn't clear. Naturally, I then started asking it what this line actually means, because it's, let's say, not intuitively clear. And he explained everything to me clearly. Then it began. I started copying his code, seeing what comes out of it. I began having issues like the first letter repeating twice for some reason, and other stuff. I had to Google and so on. But overall, it was a comfortable process. I simply decided what I wanted for ChatGPT. It showed me some options. I tried it out. Some errors popped up. I informed it about the errors, and gradually, we sorted everything out. Sometimes it also starts getting dumb. Then I go to Google. Stack Overflow helps me, and eventually, we manage. Then a story surfaced that the commit message might actually be lines, or lines with comments before them. This also had to be considered, and we talked about this for a long time. There's fundamentally nothing interesting here. Typically, a ChatGPT dialogue involves someone who doesn't understand how to do what they want to do. Let me finally show you the resulting file we ended up with. Let's take a look at it slightly. And here's the file we got. So what do we have here? Here it is, declared that this is a bash script. Command for Haskell. And then what's the story? Commit message. What is cat1? $1 is an argument passed to this script. The first argument contains the file path. And in this file is the commit message. That's how it works. When we write git commit message, a file is actually created. Here in the .git folder, which is hidden here. And with the cat command, I can get its content. That is, the content of the commit message file. This means saving it as a variable. And the variable will be commit message. Then I search for the actual message. I won't explain or analyze all of this. You can simply feed it to ChatGPT and it will answer everything. Because actually, that's not the essence of the lesson. The essence of the lesson is that you can basically write anything with ChatGPT. But about how ChatGPT works wisely, I'll tell you a bit later. All right. In the end, we take the current message, we take the first line and the other lines that we would also need to preserve as they were in the future. We format our message. This command removes dots, spaces, and such. And this command capitalizes, well, makes it uppercase for the first letter. That's it. And then, the formatted message is our formatted first line and all the other lines. And then we also write this message to the same file, whose path is specified in the first argument, this script. Let's save and check how it works. So, what's in PST? Aha, git add all, git commit message. Reminder, all thanks to omiggrc. So, git commit message. Well, let's say bad message. Okay. This is our previous one. Right. And we still ended up with a bad message. We're told that it needs to be made executable. For this, there's a special command that allows, at least in OS X, to grant it the right permissions. I don't remember it. Something like chmod. Yeah, here's chmod. We apply this very command, and let's try to add another message. Now, there will be an interesting moment, yes. Our files haven't changed at all. Or maybe they have. Let's check git status. Yes, this file has changed because its permissions were altered. So we can now proceed. Let's git commit message. Git commit message again with a period at the end. Okay, one more time. And see what git message we have now. Git commit message again, but now capitalized. Let's complicate it further. Git commit message space bad. And let's add spaces even here. Here we have an issue that right now none of the files have changed. Exactly. And that's why it doesn't let us commit. When you test this yourself, you can do the following. So now, first, I will copy our dirty message. If you want to commit an empty message without changing the code, you can use the following command. Git commit. The main thing is to add the AOMT flag and everything else just the same, and paste our scary message here. So, yes, and it simply resulted in the word bad without a period. I'm very pleased about that. In terms of the functionality we wanted to set, that's all. Let me now tell you how to use ChatGPT wisely. Ensure that you remain in control of the project, not ChatGPT. ChatGPT is not well suited for architectural questions. But if you clearly know what you want to do in a specific part but are unsure how, then yes, it's sensible to consult ChatGPT. Also, in reality, Copilot can automatically write the necessary code for you right in the code editor. The main thing is that you define the entire environment and decide what should be where. For example, when you just need to write a simple loop that is straightforward, let Copilot do it for you. When you're tackling something you don't quite understand, particularly with new technology, definitely consult ChatGPT. But that doesn't mean skipping reading documentation. Again, when consulting ChatGPT, if you don't understand everything it says, ask it to clarify so that any interaction you have with ChatGPT is not just a disservice on his part, but for you to somehow develop in this process. All right? And now we have such a situation. We have some mess in our commit history, and we need to clean it up. Now, I will show you a command that you might rarely use, but still, it might be interesting. Interesting to take a look at. So, let's do an interactive rebase. How is an interactive rebase done? There is a command called interactive git rebase, and you can insert the commit from which you want to change something. You call this. So, these are some VS Code plugins. I'm not interested in them. I want plain text. So, if we just close this file now, nothing will change. So it will just pick these commits, and they'll stay as is. But what do we need? We actually need to turn all this into one commit and give it a proper name. Add commit message hook, yes, something like that. All right, how do we do this? We can call the squash command. Squash? Squash. If you wanted to just delete them, we could add, for example, break, oops, drop. You can read all about this in the Git documentation. I'm showing this not because it's frequently used, but just out of curiosity. All right, so we'll squash all these commits. Okay, let's take a look. I'd like to have an add commit message hook here. Hook? Yeah. All right. Let's close it and see what we get. Here it gives us 3 messages. Oh, so we should have written here. Add commit message, hook. Good. Closing. Look at the Git log. Add commit message, hook. Yes. And it turned out just right. So, well, in fairness, I'd like to add that for formatting commit messages, there is actually a special tool that is supposed to do all this work for us. It's commitlint, but it's needed for some enterprises. It implies that when you write commit messages, you specify some prefix and something else and something else. So it's overly complicated nonsense. I really just need it. And like when there's a capital letter without a period at the end and no spaces at the beginning or the end. Those are all my requirements for commit messages. And this commit lint, it's excessive. But nevertheless, know that it exists. Well, thank you. That's all? Let's move on. Now, honestly, let's get to writing the actual code for our application. And also, remember, everything we did in the last lessons is usually done once in a lifetime. And then it just gets slightly improved from project to project, and it simply gets transferred. That's why you just created your own kind of capital, which will now work for you. Thank you. I would like to add a small note to this lesson. I fell victim to ChatGPT. The thing is, I tried to write code. I wasn't entirely sure how it should look, and I had little experience writing my own bash scripts for formatting commit messages, and it didn't work correctly in all situations. At the same time, ChatGPT assured me that everything was fine, and I thought so too, but in practice, it's sometimes not the case. So be prepared that if you're doing something you don't fully understand, and especially seeking help from ChatGPT, you might gain confidence, but it's not guaranteed to be justified. And at the same time, that's completely normal. You write some code, it works where you've tested it, then you find out it breaks somewhere else. No problem, just fix it, and that's perfectly fine. The development process is iterative, and the new look of this file will be like this. Here, all sorts of corner cases are taken into account, so to speak, and now it seems to work. But again, if in the future I find some shortcomings in it, I'll just correct the code of this lesson. That's it. Thank you all. Let's move on.